Okay, for our live audience tonight, thank you for attending via stream and also those that are in attendance here today. I know if we had a camera that would catch everybody, maybe everybody would see it. Finally, we have a council room that is well occupied. So thank you for coming, each one of you. So on this 25th of October, our final council meeting for this council that is sitting here, and for myself as the chair of this council, I want to take this opportunity to say thanks for the support, the many people both in the city of Winkler, the employees that have worked for the city, and I believe became a team that is very, very well respected in our province and nationally, and certainly within our community. If this afternoon was any evidence of people showing their support, it was well attended, and I appreciate the people who came and wished me well as far as my future is concerned, and certainly without them this would not have been possible. So it's been a pleasure to serve, and it's a challenge as we go forward to make sure that we keep the path going well. On that note, be it resolved that the agenda of the regular council meeting for October 25th, 2022 be adopted. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Marvin?
And are there any additions to the agenda?
Jody, did you get my golf course minutes? I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
Next time.
Just one, Mr. Mayor, if you would, under item 14, I'd like to add brief comments, end of term comments prior to your closing, Martin.
Okay. All right. So duly noted in the additions. Thank you, Henry. All in favor? And that is carried. As we have began a number of months ago, where we acknowledged the fact that we are located on Indigenous land, we as the City of Winkler acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 1 land, the home of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect of all people, including the Indigenous communities, in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration, moving forward to a harmonious, prosperous future together. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of October the 11th, 2022 be adopted. Mover?
Don Fair?
Seconder?
Karina.
Are there any questions or concerns regarding the minutes?
7.1, we were looking for clarification on the hookup fee. Do we find more information on that?
I haven't seen it. Have you?
They haven't, Marvin, I don't think they've made any corrections. I mean, there's clarification on it, but
Yeah.
I don't think they've updated minutes
Yeah, no, I guess we'll do that at the next meeting.
at your next PVWC meeting.
Okay, thanks.
So it's been duly noted, they're aware, and,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Andrew.
Yep.
Any other questions? All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Going on to finance. Be it resolved that the accounts payable in the amount of $1,073,452.79 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Andrew, sorry.
Thank you. As a part of our accounts payable, we have a check register that all of our counselors can take a look at and are part of, and it's on our website. Any questions regarding any of the payables? Hearing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the Exchange Group be appointed as auditor for the City of Winkler for the years 2022 to 2025 as recommended by the Finance Committee. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Andrew.
And any comments or questions?
Just-
David's not here, or no? Yeah,
Just
David
in,
is there.
In short comment to this, when GTP came to us and expressed that they were no longer doing municipal audits, we were a shade concerned in terms of what we would find. We were very pleasantly surprised to see a group step forward and provide us an extremely competitive quote. and they have considerable experience in this area, so we're confident moving forward in this regard.
Thanks, Henry. Any other questions regarding this resolution? Hearing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the financial statements and report for September 2022 be received for information. Mover?
Henry Siemens?
Seconder?
Andrew?
And included in this, we have a financial report, but I think it would only be fair, David, if you would get up and just tell this nice group about what a wonderful job that we have done as council to make sure that
Wow. I was thinking opposite, that he's done such a good job.
we appreciate, David, come on up. We appreciate his input and his ability to keep us in line, truly.
I guess I should have stayed in my office talking to Richard.
Yeah, if you could just give us a little bit of a recap as to how you put this together for us and,
So these are the financials for September. As you can see on the report, I did highlight a few items that might have changed from last year as I did the comparison. The first one that I would highlight here again is that our supplementary taxes are down compared to last year, and I'm sure as you were going through the MSCW building reports, you see that building permits are down this year as well. Well, that reflects directly into the revenue on our side as well. So that's down by 166,000 from last year, but last year was also a very good year. Some of the payments that we received through MMSM as well as the Artemis Stanley for the fire protection. We also received the money for 860 Roblin Boulevard for that lot that we sold. And one very positive note is that you can see on page 3 for the bank interest. So as of to date, we are sitting at around 771,000. Budget was 695, so you can see that we are above budget. But obviously, there's also a portion for the wastewater treatment facility that is not directly going to show up in the surplus, but that's the amount that we need to accrue of 380,000 roughly. So that was good to see. And the year is not over yet, so there's more to come. And especially with
we're getting a raise tomorrow, right?
I just want to say, they're talking about 0.5 to 0.75, so that's very good for us. For most people, it's not, but for the city, it is. Maybe another item on page 5, the grants and revenues that we received and that we are able to transfer directly into reserve. It's almost sitting at $1.5 million. I mean, that's just an amazing amount. Obviously, the biggest portion coming from the Canada Community Building, which was called the Gas Tax Fund. But you can see also different amounts, smaller amounts that we received from different organizations, from different groups, province feds, and so on. I thought I would highlight that as just good. I mean, it helps us for our capital plan and to build further on our asset management. Overall, when I compare our financials to last year, it's very close. We are very much in line where we were last year, so no major differences. For the utility, we can see that our Q3 sales came in and they're just slightly again below the 2021 number, pretty much at the same level. So we are within, again, if Q4 turns out to be at similar to what it was last year, we are good on the utility side as well. Then again, some things to highlight on the expenses. We had some more maintenance and repairs on the water, but also on the sewer side. So some of those budget lines we have already gotten close to the 100% or already exceeded. So hoping that we will not have too many more water breaks and sewer breaks. But that's pretty much it. On the last one positive note is also we have received already 97% of our all taxes. So that's
Wow.
I don't have the numbers from last year, but that's definitely above last year. That I know. I believe last year it was around 94. So we're at around 97, so that's always a positive sign. People are able to pay their taxes, so that's good. So thank you.
Awesome.
David,
Thank
thanks
you.
so much.
Thanks.
Now you can see why our city does so well. He keeps track of it pretty well. Thanks, David, for your service. All in favor of the financial report? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the upgraded tendering procurement policy be adopted as recommended by the Finance Committee. Mover?
Henry Siemens?
Seconder?
Andrew?
Any questions in regards to those tweaks being made there?
Other than I'm really excited to be able to put this here, because as much as possible, whenever we can, we want to keep business local, and we want to make sure that we follow all of the rules in doing so, and that we were able to put something together here that allows us that in many cases to be able to do that where we couldn't before. This is really good to see. I'm happy.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. The next item is pretty exciting. Be it resolved that City of Winkler Council approve the land sale of 17.01 acres as shown on the drawing number DR 221001 to Icon Technologies for the sum of $1.708,447,000, which include the land improvements, plus applicable GST, subject to the terms and conditions of the offer of purchase and the development agreement, which we are going to be dealing with as well, right? Do I have a mover
Henry Siemens?
and a seconder?
Andrew?
And I will add here that it gives me great delight that this is, and Icon Technologies is going to be coming in here later on today to sign these documents. And it is my official duty and my last signature that I will give on behalf of this city council to approve the sale of this purchase of land. And that is exciting. Development continues, and to a company that has shown tremendous leadership in our community and integrity and a great employer. So with that, thank you. All in favor? That is carried.
Excellent.
Going down to transportation and utilities. Be it resolved that the minutes of the transportation utility meeting of October 2022 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Seconder?
Marvin?
Any questions regarding those minutes?
Just a comment on item 3 there, roadway level of service. Take a look at the thresholds that we proposed. Yeah, like this table is based off the International Roughness Index, which isn't the only way that we review road conditions, but it's a good measuring stick. And we have suggested thresholds there that obviously can be changed by future council, but gives the staff a good measuring stick of where we would like them to be and so forth. So wouldn't hurt for you to take a look and see if you agree with those, what the committee's recommended, but
And that is the measurement, I think, that all of our citizens will judge the performance on, because that's the only evidence that they see, is how rough the road is,
right.
how many potholes. So that's what we hear about. So there's more conditions that are attributable to road repairs than that, but this is one of them. So thanks, Scott, for working through that process as well. All in favor?
And for those of you who don't know how that's measured, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, you put a phone on the dashboard, they drive at 30 kilometers an hour, around there, and that the app that's on there measures how rough the road is. So then it gives it an index based on that, so.
Nice. Way different than it used to be, and we'd have
Right.
to have our staff drive up and down
Right.
roads and then say, this one's really bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
This is good. Now we'll actually have
Data.
actionable
Evidence.
data
Yep.
that we can deal with.
yep.
Thank you.
Hey, Andrew, does that matter if you're drive a Ford or a Chevy?
that's what I
Obviously.
asked too at the meeting, is it?
Yeah? Does it make a difference or no?
Yes, of course it does.
I don't know.
Oh, you know that.
We can try 2 vehicles next year, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Swamp minutes for October 19, 2022 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Andrew?
Seconder?
Michael?
Any questions regarding, and for those of you who don't know what swamp means, it is solid waste
Area.
area
Management.
management project. Okay, there you go.
It's the
See,
landfill.
16 years and I don't even know what that acronym stands for. All right, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that MSCW Planning District reports for September 2022 meeting be received for information. Mover
Don Fair.
and seconder.
Andrew?
Any comments regarding these reports?
Well, just a note again is that this year we've, the numbers are good again. The number of permits is down, however, the size of the projects is up. So there'll be less inspections, however, more profit per project. So that's a good thing. And our contract work is continuing successfully in other municipalities other than the MSTW area, which has definitely been a good asset to our organization.
Thanks, Don, and thanks for serving on that board. And Andrew, who also serves on the MSCW Planning District. Again, it shows the amount of work that gets done by this council, and the whole group of us is much more than what meets the eye here. This is a minor detail. So if we get along too well here, you understand that the discussions have taken place prior to this meeting. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that subdivision number 4463-18-7794 be approved, subject to the rezoning and conditional use approval, variance approval, and registration of a new easement agreement for use, right-of-way access, private water main across proposed Lot 5, the registration of May 9th, 2022, right-of-way and private water servicing agreements, and all affected titles, and the development agreement with the City of Winkler. Terms and conditions of the required development agreement will be in accordance with the recommendations made by the city's report to council. Do you have a mover?
Henry Siemens?
Do you have a seconder?
Don Fair.
And to be fair, this has been a long road. How many years? At least four.
At least.
I think it started in previous council. Some of the projects that are worth doing well, and sometimes it takes longer than we'd hope. But thank you for your patience, and the Bergen family, and thank you for your commitment to this project. And yeah, just it's been a challenge, but those days are behind us, and we're here now to be able to meet the requirements. And you guys have agreed to the requirements needed in order to make this a reality. So thank you for that, and thank you for coming tonight to witness this event. Any other comments?
Right, you said 4. I thought that was very generous of you. I looked back at some of the original documents in there. I think I saw something from 1998 on one of the documents, so it's had two decades to that 4.
I guess from the initial discussions, right?
Yes,
But,
yeah. So yeah, so it's a long time. Sometimes it takes a long time, but yeah. And so yeah,
Awesome.
very happy. Yeah.
All
I
right.
haven't been on planning committee here, but I have a few questions on this. Like the right-of-way access, in that one, in page 5, it says the neighbors don't want to give access. Is that a concern?
Steph's here. She's done a lot of work
Yes.
with this subdivision. So we asked her to be here to answer any of those questions.
So the owners of the property along Road 11 North, but to the east of the Bergen's property, the applicants, they own about 5 acres. It's a strip. So the way that the proposed road, future road right-of-way is aligned, we know that 80 feet is needed for that future right-of-way. And at this point, under Lot 5, only 39 feet is given adjacent to that property. So at some point in the future, if that road alignment takes place exactly where it's proposed today, an additional 51 feet is needed from one side or the other. So that's to be determined in the future. We did meet with the adjacent landowners to discuss future impacts of this road alignment, and they were concerned because it would result in being 20 feet from their existing home. Now, in those discussions, we were pretty clear that at this point, timelines are unknown. So at this point, we're looking towards creating the building blocks for a future road alignment. but that an actual road may not be constructed even in their lifetime. Like, we don't know what the timelines are. So it depends when development occurs. That area needs to be serviced to city standards at this point, based on our secondary plan. So water and sewer needs to be brought in to Southlands West before those lands can be developed. The road likely will not be required before development occurs. So that's the challenge, is they don't want a road there today, but we don't know what the timelines are.
Okay, but that won't stop from what they want to do.
No.
No,
Okay.
not today, if the subdivision's approved, so.
Any other questions?
It says in the one page there as well, recommended carefully consider long-term impacts while recognizing these are the last 2 rural residential lots that may be considered. Is that gonna cause problems?
I think those are things that we kind of work through, like, this has been to planning committee, it was part of the secondary plan input that we got from everyone involved. And so it isn't, if you look at best practice planning and what does the province community planning department say, they wouldn't necessarily recommend this type of thing. But, and so that note there is just mostly a reminder about that. Council's past direction has been to make this, find a way to make this work. And so that's just kind of a comment to be mindful of kind of how we got here. But the direction was to make it work, and this is the way that we've found to make it work.
I think that's a really good point, Jody. As we went through the growing Winkler secondary plan, one of the key components was no more rural residential lots. The challenge that we had at that time is we were mid-discussion here. And as we worked through that, the thought from planning committee was we need to respect the conversations that have been happening while we simultaneously try to grow Winkler in the most reasonable fashion. So there was, as you know, this was a topic of agenda or a topic of discussion a number of times during meetings as well. When you look at the long row of requirements that are there in that development agreement, and the fact that our staff worked through them together with the Bergens to arrive at a place that today I believe is the best place that we can be based on this project and where it is. We wouldn't start this discussion today on a brand new project because it wouldn't fit our secondary plan.
Right.
But in order to be respectful of what was happening already prior to that plan, we needed to walk this one out to its logical conclusion.
Right.
In essence, it's kind of means that this was grandfathered in.
Correct.
There's a deadline date written into the secondary plan that after which that date there would be no more applications for rural
Correct.
properties.
Great.
And their application was before that date.
Okay, so no precedence would technically
Correct.
be set then?
Correct.
Correct.
And lot 4, is that one rural residential or is that R1? Or what's that gonna be?
Yeah, there's some recommendations with zoning there.
So lot 4 is the residual land that's basically farmed today. And recommendation is that it stay zoned DR, Development Reserve, and that it remain undeveloped.
Okay, so that one won't be able to go to rural residential ever then?
No,
Okay.
not under our current secondary plan policy.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, that's it? Anybody else got any question? None? Okay, all in favor? That is carried. It's a done deal. Thank you. Now, I think what we'll do, Henry, you wanted to have some comments here, but I think what we want to do is we want to deal with John and his group in regards to the land sale, and then we'll go in camera because that way we can.
Sure, if you want, what we could do is allow Icon to make their comments.
Yep.
And then we can go in camera and do the signing. And
Well, we want
Or-
to do the
or
signing
Henry's
before
comments,
we go
sorry.
on camera.
Sure, we can do that too.
Yep.
Yep,
Because that way, you know,
yep.
the media is here. I told them they should come for a surprise. And so and John is here, and in camera might take a little bit longer to discuss the issues that we have there regarding wastewater treatment options and the presentation that we received earlier and some other issues that.
So you prefer to do the Icon piece before my comments?
That's up to you.
I'm
You want to
fine,
do that
I'm
one
fine.
first?
Sure,
Okay.
that'd be good.
John, the floor is yours.
Welcome
You
in.
said you had something you
Welcome here,
wanted,
get up.
or do you want to say it after we sign the papers?
Sorry,
Let's sign the papers first, okay?
There's
Sign
a
first,
10-minute,
talk later.
there's a 10-minute speech requirement.
No, I just heard. I just heard you wanted to say something. Well,
You know me well enough by
now that that's not my strong suit. What I do want to say is to Martin and council, we have very much enjoyed working with all of you, and the support has been fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It's been
John.
our pleasure to work with you, and as I said earlier, to see the growth that is taking place and the direction that you're taking the company and the land requirements that you have. And if you want to come here to take some pictures, John and whoever wants to join me.
You're doing great, Pam.
Okay. The reason this is so special is because John and I have been on the same page.
Martin, should we bring that microphone to you?
Here, take Andrew's. Nope. Nope. Wendy, do you want my phone as well? My phone as well for pictures.
As many of you have been aware, I have been very actively involved in economic development in the city for many years. There's been many parcels of land that I've been involved with selling to individuals who have placed businesses here, and John's was not unique. I heard via the grapevine that there was a possibility that he was going to be building out of town, and I thought that he should never do that. But Harv and John looked at our map and he saw all these little parcels. Well, you don't have anything the size that we need. I said, oh yes, have you got an eraser? We'll take those lines out. We'll take the sewer lines out. We'll take the roads out. There you got 17 acres. So as you well know, John has built and Harv have built this company up to the point where that land is completely full and they needed more land. And we had some drainage issues. We needed to work through where that drainage would be together with the RMS Stanley to determine where that was going to end up. And it's great to have partners like you guys on our borders. And we could do that. And so we did that and made the space available for John to continue to expand. And if you think his place is big today, maybe we'll sit here in 5 years' time and really find out what they're capable of. And so my greatest pleasure, I think, today is on the last day, the last signature that I will be placing on a piece of paper for the city of Winkler is the sale of $1.7 million worth of land to this great company. And it gives me great pleasure to sign on behalf of the city of Winkler the sale of this land. And John, there you go. And we have another copy here. Well, just a second here. How about, what did I do here? Oh, I even signed in the wrong
Always
place.
memorable.
Here.
City manager.
You can stroke that.
We're not giving it back.
Just to be clear. We won't add another zero, it's okay.
See,
We've already cashed the check, Art.
there you go.
That's not my decision, Jody.
It is for 24 more hours.
You're right.
And Jody, you can sign that one there. And this one, you're down there.
So please.
Right on.
Quite all right. Thank you, John.
You're a loud clapper.
I should just share, we've got a business partner that we deal with. They
Harv,
To the mic,
you should
please.
grab the microphone as well, please.
recording.
Yes, forever.
Oh, boy. We have business partners that we deal with, and
one question we asked one of the companies we deal with, they started in a chicken coop on a farm. And today they've got about 2.5 million square feet of production space on almost 400 acres. So the question at the table one day was, could you ever envision this? Was this the plan when you started out? And of course, I think John could attest to this too. That's never the plan. You don't know what the plan is. You can't see through the mist of what comes down the road. But it's really important to have really strong backing from people who understand business, understand the community, and understand you don't need a handout, but you do need a level playing field and opportunity to grow. And we've certainly found that to be true working with this group and with staff and administration at the city as well. So just want to say thanks on behalf of myself and John for the support that we've had in creating that level playing field, and sort of a nice open relationship that we've been able to work with. And I want to say thanks for that, and we'll let you know what it looks like in 20 years, 10 years.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Henry?
Thank you, Martin, for the opportunity. I want to say thank you to Jody and his team for helping make council's job fairly straightforward. Not always easy, but fairly straightforward. Thank you very much for that. I want to say to Karina, you're not coming back too soon. It's too bad to lose you. You shouldn't be done yet. In the 4 years that you've been here, you have caused us to look at things differently. You have brought a unique perspective to the table. You've brought energy, lots of energy to the table. And your viewpoint was very, very important, is very important. And hopefully it's not the last time we see a female voice at the table, because it was an important voice. And thank you for bringing that voice. And it's too bad that you're not able to put your name forward again to run. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mayor Harder, I've had the opportunity of working with you for 16 years. We've been here through a tremendous period of change and growth for Winkler. Winkler has more or less doubled in the time that you have been mayor. That's something, Martin. Your love for community, your passion for doing it right, your excitement at projects will be missed. You have brought something to the city that has improved the city, that has grown the city. I have appreciated the opportunity to work with you. I've appreciated your mentorship, your leadership. I appreciate your friendship. During those 16 years, we haven't always agreed. There have been some times where we fairly vociferously disagreed. But what I've always appreciated about you, Martin, is that you're prepared to have discussions if I was prepared to have a discussion. We could disagree, but we could have relationship. And I think that is something, among other things, that the city of Winkler maybe hasn't always had an opportunity to fully see. The fact that you have worked full-time for 16 years for the city of Winkler for very part-time pay has improved our community, and I thank you for it, and I thank you for the leadership that you have provided this council and 3 previous terms. I very much appreciated the opportunity to work with you, Martin.
Thank you, Henry, and thank you for those kind words. And as we all know, without the person that is behind us in our marriage relationship is the reason we can do this.
Absolutely.
So, Karina, you got a full-time job ahead of you. And Valerie, thank you for having been by my side for the last 7 years. And without you, I couldn't have done this for this time around. I was close to hanging it up in 2014. But you came along in 2015, gave me new energy and new vision. And it's been a delight. And for all of you and all the staff, Stephanie, wonderful job in working at the planning. And when I think of the time we sat down with MSCW trying to convince them that they were going to give us a piece of the permit fee, and which they insisted on. We were going to do it just for a flat fee, and they turned us down.
Yes, they did.
And Alec Fedorchuk was there. I still remember the MSTW meeting where this conversation took place. We will never have an office in Winkler. But we will pay you a percentage of the permit fees. Well, I can tell you, the dollars that we got from those permit fees probably was 10 times what the rent we were asking for. So it's one of those things that progressed, and it will never change because we knew that the majority of the applications came from the city of Winkler. So it was only right. The one thing that I haven't accomplished, and that the next council will have to look after, I still believe that we should have a bigger percentage of the board rather than only being equal partners with the RM of Thompson. But I'll leave that for another council to figure out.
One step at a time, yeah.
So, thank you again, all kidding aside. It's been a pleasure. It's been great to work together with our neighboring communities. And as I shared lunch with Morris Olofsson, who is also down in the RM of Stanley, and Ike is here. Welcome here, and Pete from the RM of Stanley. The relationship that we have with those municipalities around us have been absolutely phenomenal. And we've appreciated the opportunity to build our community together, what is good for everybody. Thank you. And with that, we will have a regular meeting be recessed for an in-camera session to discuss matters of preliminary nature. So, the rest of you. Thank you for coming.
Martin.
And you are dismissed while we convene into a in-camera session that shouldn't be long. We should be out by midnight. No. Yeah. Be it resolved, this regular meeting of council will be recessed for an in-camera session to discuss matters of preliminary nature. Mover?
Marvin.
Seconder? Karina?
Great.
All in favor? Carried. Hey?
Pete, did you hear that? We'll be out by
Resolution, Jody,
Do you want me to read it?
regarding wastewater? Yes, please.
Are we good?
Be it resolved that the City of Winkler Council directs staff to move forward with the wastewater treatment facility solution as recommended in the engineer consultant's presentation to council.
Do you want to name the process? or
That would
no?
be option 3.
Okay, then maybe put that in there as well.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, do we have a mover?
Don Fair?
Karina, seconded?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
It's just throwing my name
Any
around.
further conversation or discussion?
This is a tough place to be, but it is the only logical way forward for us.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mitigating risk,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Right.
We have to not just look at today's dollars, we also have to look at what this project will cost us in the future. And if we make short-sighted decisions, gambling on unproven technology or far-fetched dreams of what may be possible instead of what's realistic and feasible, there's a high likelihood that we will regret that decision.
Yep. Thank you. So with that, I want to thank all our staff.
We need the vote?
Yeah, not yet.
Oh, okay, you're,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
We've,
My bad.
we moved and we seconded, and so now this is the discussion time.
Yes.
Yeah. And I want to.
Okay, okay, well, go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Yeah, I want to thank, as you already started, I want to thank our people to have worked so diligently to bring us all the options. It's a difficult process that we've gone through, but I want to thank our staff for bringing us very clear options and allowing us to make the decision that we feel, or that I feel will be in the best interest of our citizens going forward for the long-time future.
That's basically what I was going to say. We've been at this table for oh, that's good. Appreciate it, Mark.
It's a
But
ditto.
we've been at this table for a long time. We have put onerous hours into this, and to finally come to this point where we reach an agreement how we want to move forward, set clear direction for the next council, and I appreciate the commitment, and I too look forward to seeing the results in the end. So, with that, all in favor? And that is carried unanimously. So noted. With that, be it resolved, this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover?
Karina.
Karina, yes. Marvin? All in favor? Carried. Au revoir. Good night. We have to rescue our wives, Henry, because they have gone to Mr. Mike's in the bar.